Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Vallen, and this is Roots. Today, we're getting into something a little extra special. We're going to break this mod down into kind of some bit by bits. We're going to be covering most of the Spellcraft tab in your runic tablet. Today, we're going to cover, well, we've already covered the beginning, like the mortar, imbuing staff, modifiers, and terra. We're going to actually go through all the different staffs, however you want to say it, except for the radiance, the combustion, and the time stop. We'll be covering those ones in another one, which will probably be a lot shorter, because I'm planning on this being a little bit longer as it is. But there are some updates as well. Since last time I had said that you could not effectively wither a skeleton with an infernal bulb. Well, guess what? Timmy here has grown up. And there we go. He's not happy about this. Let's see if I can get him out there. There you go, Timmy. You alright? You look like you've had better days. And he still has his bow, if you notice. So it's kind of a scary thing there. Let's just kind of wall him in and make sure he doesn't get away. But that is one of the items. The other thing is that if you were to, punch wood and take down these trees, which I have done. In this case, I got an apple, and I may have gotten a, a sapling, potentially. But I only got an apple from this, and that was just me knocking down the wood and letting it degrade by itself. Another thing is that this one here, I broke all the leaves myself. And, of course, well, I mean, the wood, but I got some oak saplings, plus I started getting the berries and stuff. So you actually have to break the leaves yourself. You can't just let them degrade, per se, and you'll get a lot better drop rate for this stuff. So that's something that should be mentioned from the last update. And yeah, I'm currently on a newer version. You'll have the version number below. And I'll just keep on going as this mod updates. Elucent now has a crew of people working with him on this mod. So I will have their information below as well. Thank you all so much for working on this wonderful mod together. Now, we have here, first item up for bids. We have spell component Insanity. This here will, as you saw in the previous episode, perhaps, if you haven't checked it out, it's the getting started on this this mod and shows you an overview of a lot of stuff. But this one here will allow mobs to fight each other. So, for instance, we take a poppy, a red and white speckled mushroom, and a slice of beef. Put it together in one of these here mortars, and you pestle it up with, of course, I'm using old roots as the modifier for all these things, so it is no modifier bonuses on anything unless I otherwise say so. But otherwise, there we go. Got our puddle dust, already have a stick on our imbuer, and there's our staff. Now with this, if I were to, let's say, grab a little zombie pigman here to play with Timmy in here. There we go. And I cast this. There's a chance these guys will have fun with each other. Now there we go. Yeah, that pigman just was like, no. Now, I am not using any modifiers on this, so there's a chance this is going to happen. The more you increase some of the modifiers, like the potency, I believe, the higher the chance that it's going to happen. So there you go. One guy is trying to fight the other. There we go. And you can see that it's rather effective. But if I was not in creative, he would then come after me after killing his friend. So something you're still going to want to be aware of over there. All right, let's put that away for now. Next up, we have Earth Spike, which is here, Earth Spike. And this one requires a blue orchid, a prismarine shard, a lapis, and some vines. And with it, you create dirt in the shape of a spike, and it doesn't sound like much. It's like, what? Really? A prismarine shard for that? Are you kidding? No, I'm not. Reason being is that this is actually more powerful than you might think. For one, it creates something from nothing, and that is it will actually make dirt blocks on the ground from nothing. It's sort of like a cobble gin, but for dirt. The other thing being that it actually can be used to kill mobs. Now, it's not going to actually spike them and stab them. Instead, allow me to get rid of this stuff that I picked up here. Instead, it will shoot them into the sky, which I think is a lot of fun. Of course, it's kind of difficult to target at times, but let's see if I can get this about right. Hoi! There he goes. Oh, it's just fun stuff here. Hello. Pew. Yeah. Ugh. I'm an evil guy, and sometimes though this will happen too, and they'll just get stuck in the earth spike instead of being shot into the sky. And sometimes, of course, because this is just using an old route, nothing might happen. It might just be a little too far. And I'm actually not targeting the ground. I'm targeting grass right now. There we go. Pew. Thump. Really good stuff. Lots of fun with that one. So let's put that one away for now and move on to the next one. We have here the Rending Strike. So this one here, temporary armor reduction and damage. This one will do damage on hit. Let's make that up and craft it. And I'm doing this so you guys can see what the different color combinations on the staff looks like as well. This one here, it says that it will, well here, I'll let you read for yourself. And it says here that you can create a spell that will shatter targets' defenses, multiplying the next damage they receive significantly. Now, in this world, it's difficult for me to effectively make myself something wearing armor, so I wasn't able to fully test this out. But just know that it does, you know, on average at least 2.5 hearts, you know, not bad. But I realize that it's also got a secondary effect that is going to affect the armor, potentially allowing you to pierce armor on the next blow. So it's something that you guys will have to experiment with each other when you try out your new weapon on your best friend. Something like that. So let's move on to the next one here, and that is Shatter. This one's a fun one. It's here an azure bluette, a iron ingot, and a spruce sapling. You put all those. Whoops, I must have already made one of these here and forgot to put that in. Do I have an old root? I do have an old root. Lucky me. All right, smash that in there, and let's make ourselves one of these. Shatter is a mining tool. Now it's going to vary. A lot of the time in the tablet, you'll notice that like the different effects will say things like affects area of effect or power or something like that. In this case, if you increase the area of effect on this one, it actually will just affect things at a further distance, not a greater effect of digging. But it is effectively a mining tool that you can use, and it will mine out in a random radius from where you point out. About anywhere from 1 to 5 blocks is my experience. You know, so it can be pretty good, and it has a default setting of what do you call it? Iron. So it's like an iron pickaxe, and it works at a pretty good distance as well. You can upgrade that with, of course, potency things, so it can mine things like obsidian. I mean, heck, who wouldn't want to just like hold this thing for like a quarter of a second and then mine up like 4 obsidian? That's pretty darn good in my mind. So let's put that away for now. And in fact, let's get rid of that dirt. I don't even want that in there. All right, next we have Devil's Flower, a red tulip, another brick, another quartz, and red sand. I know it's tough to see on this item frame. There you go. It's kind of there. But this is a very unique one. It was a little bit glitchy last time and caused some crash issues, but those have since been fixed. And it's a lot of fun. So where'd that powder go? There it is. Petal dust, rather. Put it on here. And this one, it can be a lot of fun, in fact. I'm going to go over here, and we will have a little more fun with our pigman buddy. And we are going to cast this next to him. Oh, look at that. We spawned into existence a skeleton familiar, which, if the skeleton survives, will then attack you. So it's sort of like you're creating an already willing enemy. You know, it's sort of like you caused them to attack each other before, but you're creating one that is already willing to attack your target. And like I said, if it survives, it will then come after you. So just be aware that that's the danger of messing around with a little bit of nature's necromancy. So then we are with that's the Devil's Flower. Now we're on to shielding. This one is pretty cool. Let me, like I said before, get this out of there. This is an orange tulip, a dry sponge, and a piece of leather. And in here, I have it with an old root. And let's put it on here, make our new staff. All right, so if I spawn myself a skeleton, now I'm going to put him right here under the tree. And I'm going to cast this, and it should effectively, there we go, it should effectively create an area of effect that will cause myself to not die here. Oh, this is going horribly wrong. He seems more interested in just running around on fire than anything else. Now you'll notice that the mobs were running away from me. The reason being is because I was using this to repel mobs, of course, and that's why the skeleton was effectively running away from one tree to the next and setting himself on fire, instead of usual where he would stay under the tree and just shoot me from afar. Now, maybe I need to get myself a little health here. There we go. A little healing poultice never hurt anybody. Alright. So to demonstrate the other ability, let me put Skeleton back under here. And of course he's not going to be happy with me once again, but that's alright. Too bad for him. I am back in regular survival mode, and while I have this charged, he is not going to be able to effectively attack me. Instead it will reflect the bolts. But as you can see, I think he's a bit close to me. Perhaps I need to be a little further away because they're piercing the shield. Anyway, you get the idea. It's to repel the arrows while you're holding it. I had a very poor excuse of a skeleton trying to help me out there. I was a little bit close. There was no time for it to actually reflect. But then after that, he was just hiding behind a tree and shooting the tree constantly. But anyway, it also helps repel mobs. It's not 100% reliable, but it can be pretty useful. All right, this next one is quite a bit of fun. Blistering Cold, and that's a white tulip plus a snowball and a birch sapling will make you. And of course, I'm using the old root here. A little bit of petal dust that you put on here and make yourself the Blistering Cold staff. So with that, Blistering Cold will give a slowing effect as well as damage, and the target will leave a snow trail as they wander around. It's really a lot of fun in my mind. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's pretty cool. I mean, this is just, with an old root though. It doesn't have the damage modifiers added on there for it, so you could probably make that pretty darn good. But yeah, it's cold damage as well, which is not something that you run into too often. All right, next, here, let's get rid of some of this other junk in here. We have Life Drain. Now, I believe we have here, oh, there's a bat just flying out in the overworld. We have Life Drain, which is a pink tulip. We also have here melon seeds, raw pork chop, and granite. Yes, a use for granite. Hello, little buddy. I'm going to use you in a minute here, unless you run away. And of course, we're going to mash this up, make ourselves some petal dust, put that on here, and we get ourselves a new staff. This one here, you see I am injured, and that rabbit is running for its life because it knows it's going to be drained if I can get close enough to it, which it's not going to let me. That's all right. We still have Timmy's friend here who's going to help us out. You can see his health is at 4 hearts. Mine is at 4.5. Well, you can see he's at 2.5 hearts, and I am at 6.5 now. So there you go. It's pretty good. It's like a vampiric staff of sorts. Thank you very much for your contribution. And there you go. And something else that I forgot to mention is that if you notice, when I use the staff, the Terra effect on the top there uses up a lot more now. So it's a lot more reasonable. You may have to wait longer before uses if you are trying to spam some of these staves. So on to the next one. Acceleration. This one here is really, really cool, but you had to have gone to the end or have a way of making endstone in order to accomplish it, and that is an oxide daisy, a piece of endstone, a bar of gold, and a bit of sugar. You mash it all up and get yourself your petal dust like usual, make your staff, and this has a lot of effects. This will increase the tick rate by at least 3 times or more when cooking stuff, you know, like whether it be a furnace or a brewing stand or whatever. I have some examples here. Let's take the potatoes and the nether wart. We're going to need those. Got some coal in here. You do need a fuel source. It's not just going to make it burn for free. We'll toss the potatoes in, and you see how slow this is going with the potatoes. It takes quite some time. Well, that's all right. We can fix that. So we are going to cast this on this furnace. Boom. And then we look at it, and alakabam. This is minimum level. This has not been enhanced, and you can see that it is really cooking along on there. Now, it also works on brewing stands. So let's toss in the nether wart, and you can see that's very slow. Well, not to worry. We can speed that up. There we go. And now it is super fast, and you can see the effects on there as well. It has finished making those already, and this is still going. So this is, you know, I mean, these all will break eventually over time. At least these versions, but you can see that they last a while, and you know, just one casting for triple speed, that's freaking awesome. And if you enhance it even further, you can make it go even faster. All right, so next one we have Gust. This is the one that I was originally getting a little bit confused with one of the other ones there, so I do apologize for that. But whoops, let me put that back in. I forgot to put a root in there. There we go. And get our petal dust. It is made with dandelion, string, and feather. This is a very simple one because there's not a lot to this one going on. Let me find myself a volunteer here. That rabbit's just going to run away from me, so he's not going to be very handy. But I see a lot of sheep. A lot of sheep. Hello, sheepies. You can see, all right, well, whee! And you can blow them in the air. You can throw them up in the air. And of course, this is the lowest level, so there's a chance it'll work. And it can be quite effective for keeping guys further away from you, but it's also a lot of fun. I don't know, something about just flinging mobs and critters in the air just makes me smile. On to the next staff. All right, Solar Smite. This one damages mobs and heavy damage to undead mobs. So let me switch my game mode there, and we have Sunflower, a lit jack-o'-lantern, which is a pumpkin plus a torch, and bone meal. All in here. Oops, I need to put these in there. Let's put that in there, and this, and an old root. And then we mash it together to get our petal dust as usual. Put that in there, and it's pretty darn cool. I like this. This is really good. I mean, it's not a very expensive thing, not very expensive at all. And I just got dizzy there. Let's not do that again. So I'm gonna put skeleton down here. And so he is undead, therefore, well, you can see here he has about 10 hearts. You can see he got weakness and slowness there for a moment, plus it set him on fire, did some damage, so he's down to 6 hearts. And this is the weakest version that there is. So it does instant damage of about 3 hearts, and then he burns for another like 1 or so. Now, if I choose something like a spider, it's just going to do a little bit of damage. You can see he's got 8 hearts, and it just does about like 2.5. So it doesn't do quite as much as it would for the skeleton. Thanks for coming. See you later. Bye. Once again, that was the lowest level. You can upgrade these as you like. Then we've got Growth. Chance to bone meal an area with a lilac, wheat, beetroot, and some vines. And with that, we mash it up to get our petal dust. I feel like I've said that before. Then you get yourself a staff. And I have down here a little gardeny area all set and ready to go. We're just gonna put a bunch of seeds out here. Oh, lucky. I thought that I was going to have destroyed the crop area. Let's just kind of put seeds everywhere, and you guys can see the effect. And remember, this is just the lowest setting. It's not always going to work when you don't have any modifiers on here, but let's give it a go here, and boom. So it will bone meal kind of an area effect. So it's like bone meal, but it will do like a small area. So similar to that one, what's the name of it? The shatter one where you're digging. It will kind of bone meal in a small area like that. Or at least it has a chance to. This one has not been modified. This is not a potency one or any kind of upgrade or anything like that. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. As it is, it's really cheap and really effective. And look, just for a few vegetables and some vines, or flowers, vegetables, and vines, you've got yourself like how many uses on this thing? Pretty much a stack of area bone meal. That's pretty darn good. And if you add a modifier on there, even if it's a cheap one, you might be able to make it do even better. So I think that is a very worthwhile one, especially since this mod is all about harvesting your crops. Alright, so let's put that away and move on to the next one here. We have rosebush, fermented spider eye, and a bone to make thorns. This one you'll damage the foe who you put this on, but then they will gain a thorns effect. So, as thorns is, that's a double-sided thing there. So you're going to want to use this sparingly. Now, let's see if I can find myself another volunteer. Oh, hey! How you doing, little sheep? So you see here, this is the lowest level. And it does 2.5 hearts. Or rather 3.5 hearts. So it does quite a bit of damage. But now this sheep is enchanted with thorns. So if it were to attack me, which it's not going to, you would then be hit by a thorns effect from that creature. So it's something that you're going to want to be a little cautious of, but it can be very, very handy. So, next up, we have regeneration. This one here, it takes a peony, slice of watermelon, and some rose red dye. Of course, you mash that up in your mortar and pestle, and you put it on there, make yourself a staff like you have been, and we have our regeneration staff. It does not actually give you regeneration. What? It says regeneration. It's actually called regeneration in here as well. Whoops, not roses, thorns. Regeneration right there. But it's not. It will heal you. If I switch back to this mode and I take myself some damage, then I can heal myself. Now, this is the lowest setting, and you can see how much of the Terra bar it is actually taking up for this to work. But if you power it up, it can work almost every time and heal you for about 2 or 3 hearts worth. Allow me to get a powered up one. There we go. And now I have one that has potency 3 on it. The other one has no bonuses on it whatsoever. And if I change my mode back to 0, and then, oops, that was a terrible fall. This should be better. There we go. Now you can see I've taken myself some damage. So if I use this, it can heal, and I can heal, and I have to wait for my Terra to recharge, and then I should be able to heal again. So it's a pretty cool item to have on your inventory. If you need to heal up, that's one way of doing it, so that you don't have to rely on your hunger bar. So pretty darn cool stuff. But as you saw before, it doesn't always work at the low level. I recommend leveling it up at least 1 level so that you can get it to work more reliably, especially since you're going to need that much quicker response time and not just stand there waiting for your Terra bar to recharge if you need that healing ability. On top of that, it does actually work in the nether. It does say that it pulls from nearby flowers the energy to heal you, but funny enough, it works in the nether after all. Maybe the nether warts for that. I don't know. But all right, our next one, remedy. This one, it's got a kind of a cool mechanic here. So it is, of course, an apple, a glistering melon, and a golden apple. Of course, smashed up, pedal it up, and staff it up. Now this one here will take any negative side effects and reverse them. So, if possible, I should say, I have a potion of poison, which should last 45 seconds. Oh dear, that's no good. Well, what happens if I use my staff of remedy, or nature's cure, rather. And that is, I now have regeneration instead. So that's pretty darn cool. Now I'm going by the names in the tablet on here. Each staff might have its own title as well, like Dandelion Winds, Solar Smite, Rose's Thorns, Nature's Cure, and so on. But I'm going by the tablet descriptions here. Life Drain, Blistering Cold, and so on. So, on to the next staff, Water Blast. Actually, I'm going to keep that one close by because I think I might need that one here. Water Blast. Create temporary running water. What? Why do I want to create temporary running water? Well, I'll show you. We've got lily pads, we've got a wet sponge, and a beetroot. And of course, as usual, mash it up, and you make yourself your staff. And this one here, I like the staff colors on it. It's pretty cool. Just to show you what it can do is obviously say, all right, well, I don't want to pick all my crops. There we go. You can create temporary running water, which it's just like if you were to pour down and pick up a bucket of water very quickly, just on the ground. You can use it to push mobs away. I see one on my radar there, but I think he's underground. But here's where it really is interesting. So I'm in the Nether, right? And I've got a water staff. Well, everyone knows you try and use water in the Nether. It doesn't really work. Well, guess what? It does. You can use it to extinguish fires in or out of the Nether as you wish. That's pretty darn cool. It's really good stuff. So if you ever wanted that bucket of water just to use it for the splashing effects, there you go, folks. All right. Here's one that I think everyone will appreciate. Electric Spark, or at least that's what it's called in the tablet here. I'm gonna immediately smash this up and put this on here while I tell you what it is. It's a poisonous potato. Yes, that's right. There's a use for a poisonous potato. Glass and glowstone block plus a bit of sugarcane. Whoops, I didn't put down the stick. My bad. Will get you this wonderful, wonderful staff. And whatever block you're looking at, provided that you can reach it, is kind of a guideline. So you can see the little block outline there. You can call forth lightning. It's really cool. So, all right. Boom. Just like that. And you're like, all right, come back here, sheep. But you got to be careful because you can hit yourself with it too. So it's a lot of fun. You can go a little further. Oh, but yeah, you got to be careful with this thing. You might want to increase the range. And here we are back with another one. We're going to smash this up, put this on the pedestal, or on the that there, and then we get here a staff of Inferno. This one here, it says Fireball on the tablet, is a nether wart plus a bit of blaze powder, coal, and charcoal. You can't substitute them in this case. You have to have a little bit of both, is what's in the mortar. And this one is really cool. It buffs your enemies and drains you, but it also will damage your enemies. So there you go. Instant death. But it also gives them bonuses if they survive. Now, you didn't see any effects on me, but let me see if I can catch it this time. There we go. I have weakness, mining fatigue, and slowness for about 5 seconds. So let me get a little bit stronger of a mob here, and maybe we can show off what kind of bonuses they get. Well, I couldn't really tell you from the particle effects, but yeah. It's still a very powerful spell. Just be aware that if you're buffing your enemies and you don't kill them very fast, they're gonna hurt you. They're gonna hurt you bad. All right, so on to the next one here. Ender Warp. Teleport toward where you look. Now this one, of course, is going to be more powerful with more modifiers. And since you should have access to the end for this one, I recommend that you modify this one up really high. But you just get yourself here a bit of chorus fruit or chorus fruit, ender pearl, purple dye, and some popped chorus or chorus fruit, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Which, oh, actually, I don't even have any of this stuff in here. Let's do this up real quick here. Put some roots in, smash it, put it in here with a stick, and there we go. And this one here, it can save you from a nasty fall, or it can create one for you. You will basically teleport about 8 blocks or so with the bare minimum, just like an Enderman would. But you can also teleport straight up. Hui! Ugh. You can teleport down and suffocate yourself. Whew! Okay, that was a bit dangerous. So you'll have to be aware that where you teleport could be potentially bad for you. Like trees, for instance. But then again, you might be able to teleport yourself back out without suffocating too much. So that can be quite a lot of fun. And I think regarding the rune tablet there, that brings us to, well, pretty much where I wanted to stop. Next time we'll be covering the Radiance, Combustion, and Time Stop spell components, plus the snare there. And then we'll probably move into a bit more on the rituals and making some really awesome stuff. And this is where the heavy stuff is of the mod, in my opinion. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, or feel free to share the mischief with others. We do have currently a Patreon account if you want to support us, and we also have a Discord chat if you want to jump in and talk. And until next time, folks, I'll see ya.